So I wanted to take a couple minutes here to compare our Max system to our manual system. So what we'll be talking about right now is our 562W, our wash system, versus our M4W Max system. Basically, these are both really easy machines. You got easy and you got easier. So let me show you what exactly that means. On our manual machines, what we've got here is we've got a nice program, a nice color display. We can set up 4 different tools in this machine. This particular machine has 220 gallons a minute inside of it that it can flood the part. So on the 562, we can have 4 tools on the part. So we can literally deburr or chamfer both sides of the part. At the same time, we could remove the burr on the one side of the tooth and we can brush the underside of the tooth. So we can do all of that with this really nice colorful display here. The real difference between the two machines is the manual adjustments on the machines. So let me take a moment and show you what that looks like. So on this machine, we've got basically manual adjustments, and I always compare this machine to like a Bridgeport. So what that means is we've got knobs, rack and pinions, and all kinds of stuff here so that you can start making quick and easy adjustments on this machine. So we make this easier than any of our competitors. So we got this really cool rack and pinion on here so that you can move it super easy, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. So we've got the same thing on the vertical axis. And what we do that's different than what a lot of our competitors do, which makes things a lot better, is we make each axis independently adjustable. So it's not a gang of axes on one knob, and when you loosen it, the whole thing falls into your hand. If you want to make an adjustment left to right, we've got an axis just to move this left and right, but it's not really affecting anything else. You know, if I'm going through and I want to make this setup, I'm going to have to go through and tweak this guy into here. And let me make a few more adjustments here. So that looks like a pretty good setup right here, and I'm about ready to try my first part. Once I try my first part, I might have to tweak this back in 1 or 2 more times. I'd say about 30% of the time you're going to tweak this. Sometimes you might have to go 2 or 3 times. But these machines are great for entry-level type of companies, a nice price point on them, and they are absolutely workhorses. So with this machine, like I was saying, we've got everything set up to where I can chamfer both sides of the gear all at one time. I can run the burr tool at the same time and literally run the brush at the same time. You'll see where there's a real good place for these types of machines. They're really good with like robot load situations or customers that only run a few different types of parts, say, you know, 3-4 different types of part in a particular cell. This is the machine for them. Now, if you got a type of environment where you're running 50, 60, 70 different types of parts and you got a lot of setups, we might want to start talking about a Max system that makes this even easier. Let's go take a look at that. So over here we have a Max system. So now it's a little bit different. I still got to make all of those adjustments, but I'm not really making it by hand anymore. So I don't really need my tools. But what I do need to do is, instead of using my tools, I'm going to be jogging the axes. So the Max system, as you might be aware now, is a servo-controlled system. So all of those axes you saw on the manual machine where they're human-powered are now servo-controlled. So now what we do is we give you a set of jog controls on the screen so that you can move all of these axes, but you still got to create that first setup. You're still going to have to tweak it in. There's still a development process. There's still prove out on that first part, but once you get that done, it's done forever. So the big difference between the two machines is, you know, a lot of people on the manual machines run a lot of different batches of parts. Maybe their batches are 25, 50, 100, or 500 parts, but they might run 30, 40, a few hundred different parts a year. So if you're doing that, the setup time over there is going to start killing you. Where you'll start to see this machine saves its setups. We're going to change between parts in just a few seconds. I'm still doing the same thing here, but once I do it, I don't ever have to do it again. So real basically, that's your major differences between the machine. I could go into greater detail when you give me a call, or maybe on a later video. Thank you.